things
Yes.
that in my business that we need to get better at is so we're really, really good in that 1 to 10 million space and below, but 1 to 10
Mhm.
million is where like the advisors are thrilled. Um, they're closing business. If they see that client, like there's a really great chance that they're, turning that into a new or they see that prospect, there's a great chance of turning that into a new client.
Mhm.
Every campaign I do, we get a handful of the like 25, 15, 10 million plus. Um, Most I ever personally saw was 36. I've heard of like
Mhm.
56, 58. Um, I think I've heard of even higher, the but we don't close a lot of them. Now we're not getting you can't hire me to, you know, I'm not going to be able to systematically get you like $40 million prospects all the time. We're not, but
Mhm.
you will see them. They're sprinkled in. Like it is a part of what my clients get, but
Right.
they're just across the board. We're not closing them, I think, at a high enough rate. Like even though there's not like it's not like we have 100 of them, we should be getting more than that. What do you have an opinion on how, advisors are closing these cases or how they might need to be
Yeah.
treated differently? I feel like my guys just it's like, we talked about. It's like they're the guy who just like smells desperate trying to like, we need to get rid of this stink somehow. Like, and I'm not sure
Yeah.
exactly sure how.
Yeah, so, like, it starts again, like, I'm gonna bang on my I hate using flat fee because I really don't align with flat fee folks. It's an advice price or, like, a value-based price. Somebody with that amount of assets doesn't wanna work with an AEO advisor because you can't demonstrate a case where you're providing 150K plus of value. And that's the assumption, is that you roll over these assets, you pay me six figures on an ongoing basis, and you get an undetermined amount of service. So they're not interested in that. They want you to demonstrate that you care about their outcomes and you have a way of extracting what those outcomes are and you have a plan for helping them. That's what they want. So typically, if you're not providing that or demonstrating process, like that's what they want to see in a presentation like you're providing. They want to actually see a process of how you will help them. They don't want to hear about topics. They don't want to hear about strategy. They want to know about process and how you'll take care of them and the value that you're going to provide. Um, but I think even if you have those, if you're on an AUM schedule, your pricing is going to undermine that.
So you're saying like so all right, so guy comes in, he's got 25 million. Do you want to turn to him and be like, hey, sir, typical advisor you talk to is going to show you something like this. They're going to get a portfolio that looks, more or less like this. We all know you can show your funds, you can show your indexes, whatever, couple stocks, whatever.
Hmm.
Your portfolio is going to look like this, and they're going to charge you something like $250,000 a year to manage this 25 million. Now, you can pay
Hmm.
that, and a lot of people do. That's great. Or for $25,000, I can give you a plan that looks like this, and then you kind of, hopefully you have some kind of demo or something you can show that just gives them a feel for what it's going to be, and then like almost lead with the plan or something, somehow pitch the planning aspect, and here's what you're going to get for a
Yeah.
tenth of that, and then if you want us to manage the assets, we can do that for you, and then you hopefully you quote a competitive fee there too.
Y-
But like lead with the plan basically is kind of your
No, it's even more simple than that. It's leading with something much more qualitative. It is genuinely saying and demonstrating to them again that I want to know you and I want to make sure that we're even fit and I can even provide you value before we even talk about a plan or asset management or anything. And that's how I used to start every engagement with a client or a prospect is like, listen, I don't even know if I can be of value to you. I need to ask you a bunch of questions. And then this is meeting one. And then meeting two, if I think we're even a fit, I'm going to dig in to what outcomes you're seeking, your burning issues, those sorts of things. Like I'm going to fully understand you and put together a plan of how I'm going to help you before I ever quote you a price, be it 25 grand or 250 grand. And just demonstrating that is typically enough for those folks. And that's what those folks are seeking because it's pretty uncommon to become a 25 to 50 millionaire. And they're probably a very uncommon and very intentional individual. And so if you go right into strategy and product and service, their ears are going to turn off.
so it's almost like compliment the wealth, like, hey, like this is awesome. Any advisor would be thrilled to work with you. What I want to do is let's figure
Yep.
out what your goals are, sit back, you know, just I need to just wrap my head around exactly what you're looking for.
Correct.
You have to kind of somewhere though, you have to kind of say what we generally do, but I guess that's a little bit implied, like, we wanna,
Yeah.
you know, financial advising.
You can go over process, right? So, hey, prospect, you're in this initial discovery call. Next, we're going to have what's called an outcomes discussion. From there, I'll meet with my team. We'll put together a plan uh, for how we're going to help you achieve these outcomes over the long run. And then we'll also quote you a price at that time. You can decide to sign on or not. As soon as you sign the line, we go to work. This is what the work usually looks like. This is how long it takes. And we'll do this for you on an annual basis, including investment management, tax planning, whatever else. But I don't want to tell you what we're going to do for you because, again, I don't understand what you want us to do. I don't understand what value you're seeking.
Yeah.
Um, and the only thing I would change about how you set that up is like, I wouldn't even compliment the wealth. Like, I don't care. That's what every other advisor is going to notice, and that's where they're going to talk to you. Like, I don't care if you have 50, I don't care if you have a million, I don't care if you have two nickels to rub together. That's not what's of interest to me. So I want to know what value you're seeking, and I want to give you a price that's fair for that value, be it
Yeah.
25 or 250 grand. It doesn't matter to me.
Right. Right. And yeah, there is a how different is that than somebody with like, I don't know, 500K or a million, or would you kind of go about it
It's
the same
not.
way? Yeah.
It's the exact same process. And that's why I'm saying, like, they want to understand a process. They don't want you to be influenced.
Yeah. Yeah, because typical yeah. I mean, there's a subtle difference there, and I do like it. I'll be,
Yeah.
I'll certainly share that with our advisors. I'm really
It,
just looking for, like, collections of answers to this question and trying to
yeah.
because we gotta
Yeah.
boost this close rate. We gotta get more of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
possible to move up market, and we can do better. So,
And that's an unpopular answer, what I just said, right? And that's like most people, when I say that and I lay it out that way, they're like, no, that won't work. But, eh, you know, it's just my experience. And I've
I
seen it work.
yeah, I do have an advisor he's not totally different than that.
Hmm.
And his answer to the question is not totally different. I don't know how much he's doing with the ultra high net worth. When he talks to like the guys with like 2 million, the 1 to 10 space, that's generally
Hmm.
how he's thinking about it. Um, a lot of
Which,
times, what they're doing, I feel like, is especially post seminar, it's like getting them to come in and almost kind of review how overwhelming the material is and how much goes into it, and then you answer questions and just kind of walk them into like, hey, this is what we handle for our clients. Why don't I'm happy to answer your questions, but it seems like you have a lot and you have a lot of stuff. Why don't we talk about working together? And but it's still a little different than what you're saying because yeah, it's even less of a like asking to close, more of a hey, tell me about what you're looking like. What are
r-
your needs? What are you looking for? Yeah,
right.
I'm trying to
And it's,
wrap my head around it.
yeah. And it's an attitude, right? It's a disposition. So a lot of times advisors, like, how do you get rid of the reek of desperation? It's, it is, no, client, you're not going to come in here and just ask me a bunch of questions and expect me to answer them. I'm going to ask you questions because, again, I don't know if I can even be of value and service to you. And I'm not going to answer your questions today. Like, I'm just not. I'll do my best at the end once I have data, have a better understanding of where you're at. But you are not in control of this process. You're not in control of this meeting. That's the other thing people with that amount of money are used to, is just being in control all the time. And you have to put them in a position of like, I'm going to lead this. This is why I'm valuable. Like, you're coming to me for leadership. So I'm going to put myself in that position.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be
It's
we'll try
It se it
it.
seems yeah, dude, it seems rude, but, like, if anybody wants to understand the conversation and the process, like, that's literally what I help with. That's a key component of what I do on the pricing side, is, like, understanding how to have a conversation in that way. And I don't need, like, a full engagement just to sit down with somebody for an hour and basically explain my process. It's really cool. Like, it's, pretty unique.